This is the fourth and final round of a 10-man tournament that we had in Portland, Oregon at Flesh and Blood Foundry. Griffin, a player from, I believe, Kelso, Washington, is up top, and then I'm playing a Druid down at the bottom of the screen. Turn 1, the Pathfinder is playing out a River of Flame and passing turn. Turn 2, I opted to draw a spell. I'm tapping for First Sight here. Looks like I have 2 Valley of Delights in my hand. The first Valley, I believe, gets called as Water, because I wanted to get that water requirement out of the way. As my memory serves, I do end up in trouble with some thresholds later on in this game. But I don't think that the trouble that I was in would not have been fixed by calling a different value there, potentially. Turn 2, he's playing a Smokestacks into the center of the grid and then passing turn. Getting ready to start my turn 2. My turn 2 is a Sight for turn. Looks like it's a Kelp Cavern. And I'm tapping to play out the Kelp Cavern. I'm gonna look at the... Oh, so I forgot again that he played the Smokestacks. That's going to nullify the effect on that. But it will summon Tawny. Or not summon Tawny, excuse me. Tawny was summoned last turn and then moves forward. And then pass turn. Pathfinder's going to tap for a Sight. It's a Mirage. He's going to move. And he has 3 mana for turn. I think he's thinking out of play here. 3 mana is for a Red Cap. Red Cap attacks in for 3 points of damage. So fairly aggressive Pathfinder deck, it looks like. I'm going to start my turn here, turn 3. I have a Red Cap I have to deal with. And I draw... It looks like I draw maybe a... I think I draw a spell for turn. And in retrospect, I wish I had drawn a Sight, I think. Tapping for second Valley of Delight. Moving it up there to limit the Pathfinder's like upper limit on mana. Griffin reminded me again, though, that the Smokestacks is there. I always forget when Smokestacks is down. And so if I played it there, it would have lost the Genesis ability. I call Earth on that one. And I think that was probably a mistake. The deck that I'm running, it's running the Boars, and I need to get up to 3 Earth threshold eventually. But I should have probably called Air in order to play that Magic Missile. So the Magic Missile was technically an illegal play, which neither of us caught during the game there. But I played that to get rid of the Red Cap, and then one for the Torse Hammer on Tawny to attack in for 2 points. Griffin's playing another Sight out. It is Valley Delight's the same scenario that I was in, so he doesn't get to call Threshold on it. It will still generate mana for him, though. And if he's primarily running Fire, he already has 3 Fire Threshold, so that's all he's going to need, really. He's going to play out a Dragonette's. End of turn, it will ping Tawny for a point. And then he's passing turn back. Turn 4, I draw another spell for turn. I think I'm looking for a solution here to deal with the Dragonets. This is, again, he's playing a pretty aggro Pathfinder deck, so he's going to have a lot of 3-power threats coming at me. A tower for 5 mana for turn with the Genesis. Resummons Tawny. And then 5 mana, I believe I play out the Questing Beast that we saw peeking out of my hand earlier. So yeah, Questing Beast comes out for 5. And double checking placement on that. Yeah, I think I play it down there, end of turn, it takes a step. And it takes a step there just so it is within defend range of the Dragonet. The stealth token it's a custom token, a John Cena stealth token from a player from New York, and we got it. Griffin got it at a Unland Cup, I believe, in Seattle earlier this year. He plays out. It looks like a desert with his Pathfinder. Pings Tawny off the board again, and then attacks in with the Dragonets, and I choose the block, which is I don't know if that's correct. That's probably like a bad call to do, to block into someone who's attacking with that knowledge on the board. I end up falling for it. I think maybe 60% of the time. I don't like the idea of somebody being able to bluff through some additional damage just because on the off chance that they are able to remove your piece. But more often than not, I feel like when your opponent is attacking in with something, there's a very good chance that if you end up blocking it, they will have the answer to do the additional points of damage that they need to remove it. So the Scarabs coming out again, also just being a nuisance, especially with Tawny removed. If Tawny hadn't been removed, I could have popped the Scarabs a little bit more easily here. But Pathfinder aggro doing what it's supposed to do here, being pretty aggro and putting me on the back foot. And I go for a pretty unorthodox. I go for an unorthodox play, and I play Ruler of Thule to attack with my Druid to the back row for 2 points, and then attack with the Ruler of Thule for 3 points to put me out of harm's way. I think my thought process with that was it seemed likely that the Scarabs were just going to suicide into my Druid, so I'm staring down 4 points of damage next turn. If I played the Ruler and I went on the offensive and I moved back, that buys me a turn or 2 without the Scarabs having to do damage. And at that point, like, the more turns that I give him to play things on the board, the more chances he has to have something on the board that puts him in a positioning disadvantage with the Scarabs. Because when the Scarabs die, they'll do 3 points of damage to everything on the location that they're at. And if I can trap him with some of his other minions, it makes it a little more palatable, taking that suicide damage or killing them and taking that 3 points of damage when they explode. Griffin taking a minute to think. I didn't think he was. I didn't think he expected me to run back there. He's attacking the Ruler for 3 points or 2 points with the Biolimp, and then unfortunately he has a Blaze which he uses on the Scarabs to answer to remove the ruler and do 2 points of damage. Blaze, I believe, also doesn't require a tap for a move and attack ability, so technically I think he could have also then attacked in to do an additional 4 points onto the Druid from the attack, and then when it dies it again pops for 3. But he didn't catch that during the game. I didn't catch that, so we're moving along here. I play a blink to blink again, or to blink away and draw a card from the blink, and then I believe I move away again to buy myself another turn here. So I attack in with a double Torse Hammer Trinket for 3 points of damage. And again, it's to try to get some more damage into him, and then also to reposition away from the Scarab to buy myself another turn, unless he has another trick to get the Scarab over there quickly. But these turns where I'm using movement tricks and things, really, like, every time I'm not tapping for a sight with the Druid, it puts me further and further behind in the game here. And he's putting me in a very difficult position, as we see here now. He's tapping for another sight with the Pathfinder, and he played out a Phoenix. The Phoenix is potentially very, very dangerous, and if he's running, it looks like he's been almost exclusively running mono fire. If he has the spells necessary to power it up, it can swing for a lot of damage. So I'm beginning my turn here with the Phoenix, with the Scarabs breathing down my neck. The only benefit to the situation right now is that the Phoenix is potentially a little further away from attacking my sights without any assists, without any like spell assists. The Avatar, though, my Druid, is right there, which is a problem. And at this point, I think at this point in the game, it probably would have been advantageous for me to just flip the Druid. Just to mitigate any potential damage that he's setting up here with the Phoenix. I'm thinking long and hard about kind of how I'm going to play around this piece here. And it's like, it's problematic just because I think even if I did flip and brought out Bruin, well, no, even if I flipped and brought out Bruin, it would have shut down the Scarab, because the Scarab wouldn't have been able to get onto the site, because it would take a point of damage when it enters. So it would still explode for 3 points upon entering. But at least he couldn't get 4 points in onto the Druid or the bear. Choosing to Torse Hammer and move. And I think this was a strategy to try to bait him into blocking with the Phoenix. Again, like I talked about before, it's just like when somebody leaves you an opening like that, you know, there's a good chance that they have a follow-up to remove your piece if you choose to defend. And like I said, I have a weakness. I end up falling for that more often than I want to, just because I don't like the idea of someone bluffing me out and sneaking damage in. But frequently, if you do block, they end up having the answer to remove the key piece that they want from the board, which is what I was hoping to get here. I was hoping that he would block with the Phoenix, and then I would have a follow-up way to remove that Phoenix piece from the board. But unfortunately for me, Griffin is a smarter player than I am. And he firebolts for 3 points of damage to power up the Phoenix to 7 power, Shadow Strike me, and then attack in for 7 again. So 14 points of damage, like straight into my face, which was not fun at all. It was super impressive to see, though. And I knew that he was going to be able to power up the Phoenix in some fashion. I just did not expect him to be able to double dip and get and get an additional strike with something like Shatter Strike. Pathfinder doing a lot of work though. I mean, he set up his mana base to 8 just by virtue of existing and being able to flip a site each turn. You can do a lot. You can do a lot of things with 8 mana in the game. So I'm in a pretty precarious position at this point. I think I basically have to flip the Druid if I want any hope of even buying myself even like one more turn here. And then you can't see my hand, but the situation that I'm in is that I've drawn into like a grand old boar at some point in the game. I don't have the threshold to cast it out. So even if I tapped out to play a site to get 5 to bring my mana base up to 5 to meet the casting requirement there, I only have 1 earth threshold on the board, and the boar requires 3. So like the boar potentially would be like the one piece that I would need in order to buy myself an extra turn. I need a blocker to get myself out of the situation. But right now, you know, I think I do the best that I can here. I flip to get Bruin. And then I'm thinking really hard if I have another out in the game at this point in time. And I just, unfortunately, like, again, you can't see my hand, it's out of frame, but like the pieces that I have here, like, are not, they weren't enough. I use a grapple shot on Bruin to grapple into the Phoenix to remove that from the board. But now he disintegrates Bruin, and then he could just fly in for that final tag on Death's Door. A great game. Like I said, I got stuck on some thresholds there. I had an illegal play earlier in the game, which, you know, didn't really help me because Griffin had a very aggro start to the deck, and the deck, his Pathfinder deck, did what it needed to do out of the gate here. Super fun. I believe our win rates at this point, going into this round, I was at 3-0 and he was at 2-1. Based on strength of schedule, I think I still ended up coming in first on the breakdown, I believe, and then Griffin ended up in either second or third. Just based on, again, strength of schedule, the way that breaks out. I don't understand how the math works in my head for tournament rankings. I just do what the screen tells me. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see his deck in action, and we had a really fun time at this tournament. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.